Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here. So it's time for the next episode of a movie that didn't need a sequel. And in today's video, I'm going to be covering this time example of a comedy movie which, in my opinion, did not need sequels. It's been a very long time since I've covered a comedy film in this series, isn't it? So this example of a comedy film which, in my opinion, did not need sequels is also as well a spy movie as well at the same time. And the main characters, believe it or not, guys, are not actually human spies, but this time it's none other than cats and as well as dogs. And as you probably guessed by that clue I just gave, the film which in my opinion did not need sequels is none other than 2001's Cats and Dogs. Now, when it comes to this film, then, so I've seen this film several times when I was a kid, and even though this film hasn't had much good reviews, it's had like a mixed reception really. I personally regard this film for me as a guilty pleasure because I genuinely really enjoy this movie. I think it's, in my opinion, a fun movie. And as a lover of cats, it definitely makes me very happy to watch because I love cats. So it's definitely, in my opinion, a really good movie. We've also, as well, a great cast of actors, like, for example, main human characters played by Jeff Goldblum, great actor. We've as well a great voice cast of people such as, for example, Tobey Maguire in my favourite voice always, which is Lou the dog. Alongside people as well, such as Sean Hayes, who plays a very funny villain cat called Mr. Tinkles, who's just so funny. And also Susan Sarandon, Charlton Heston, may he rest in peace. And also as well Michael Clarke Duncan, rest in peace. And also Joe Pantoliano, Billy West. Just name a few, really. And it's definitely, in my opinion, a pretty fun movie. And is it a masterpiece by any means? No, not in my opinion, because there are some things about it that I don't really like. When it comes to a cast, one particular voice cast that I was not happy about was probably that of Alec Baldwin as Butch, because he's an actor I absolutely despise. And him being this one was definitely one of my qualities with it. I really didn't come out for a sequel as well. And I personally as well think that the film has a really good ending, which I did not see any signs of sequel baiting to whatsoever, because at the end of the movie, of course, after, of course, Lou is able to defeat Tinkles, he's able to, of course, decide to return to a normal pet's life with the Brodies as their pet dog, until he can eventually one day serve as a full-grown agent when working with dogs. And Mr. Tinkles is also sent to prison to live with Sophie and her three sisters. And what's pretty funny as well is he's got to dress up in humiliating outfits, which is actually, in my opinion, a very funny and satisfying defeat for him, I must say, really. And right there, I did not see any sign of sequel baiting whatsoever in this ending, because it gave Lou the dog a very happy ending where he got to live with a family that of course, he's grown up with. And Mr. Tinkles was defeated in a very funny way, I must say, really. But unfortunately, despite this film having a pretty good ending, in my opinion, and the film being a fun guilty pleasure for me, sadly, it's unfortunately got a sequel 9 years later. And unfortunately, this was a film which I really did not like. And I did not hear good things about this sequel as well. And I didn't check it out until earlier this year. And this sequel, which I saw and did not like, is none other than Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. Oh my goodness. Like, just what happened with this sequel? This film, in my opinion, was absolutely terrible compared to the great first film. Because while I regard the first one as a fun, guilty pleasure, which I think is great fun, this sequel, in my opinion, is just abysmal in comparison. And there's barely anything redeemable about the movie at all whatsoever, in my opinion. I guess that some cast members from the first one do reprise their roles. For example, Michael Clarke Duncan, rest in peace, comes back as Sam. So does Joe Pantoliano as well as Pete. And also as well, Sean Hayes comes back as Mr. Tinkle. But unfortunately, the way his character is executed in the film, in my opinion, is really bad, and I'll get to why. And also, so when it comes to new cast members, my favourite part of the new cast for me was most definitely Roger Moore, rest in peace, as the cat called Tab Lazenby, which was definitely a very nice homage to George Lazenby, who's a James Bond actor, and of course, Roger Moore's character he also played in films too, which was my favourite role of his in live action. So yeah, when it comes to new cast, Roger Moore was definitely my favourite part of it. I did also appreciate how Nick Nolte replaced Alec Baldwin as Butch. I really appreciate that because I personally can't stand Alec Baldwin, so I'm so glad the sequel got recasted, but it's not really saying much though. Because when it comes to this sequel, I just think it really falls flat compared to the first film. Like, one thing it does, which I think is really stupid, is it takes the previous film's main character, which is Lou, and turns him into a supporting character in his own sequel, where he's no longer a main character. And what's also worse is Tobey Maguire didn't even return to reprise his role as Lou. Instead, he got replaced by Neil Patrick Harris. Now, I love Neil Patrick Harris as an actor, guys, but in my opinion, he was a miscast as Lou because he sounded nothing like Tobey at all. It's one of the first time he's actually replaced Tobey because he's also voiced Spider-Man too as well in the new Spider-Man animated series and then later in video games too as well. But when it comes to Lou, well, in my opinion, he was a miscast because he sounded nothing like Tobey. And Lou, in my opinion, was nowhere near as entertaining as he was in the first film either, because Tobey made him a very entertaining character. Whereas in this sequel, Lou was just, in my opinion, really boring and one-dimensional and was very underused. Because he gets replaced by a new main character, which is actually a dog called Diggs, who is a German Shepherd, voiced by James Marsden. Now, I love James Marsden as an actor, guys, but I unfortunately regard Diggs as my least favourite role of his, because Diggs, compared to Lou, was, in my opinion, very unlikable. He was very arrogant and dim-witted and impulsive, and so egotistical. I just couldn't stand him in this movie at all. He was nowhere near as likable as a protagonist as Lou, in my opinion. And the film is also so guilty of as well erasing characters from the first one and making it no longer exist, of course, which is the Brodies, because they don't appear in the sequel, guys. And they instead get replaced by a main human character, which is Shane Larson, played by Chris O'Donnell, who, of course, is the owner of Diggs, who wants to adopt him. And when it comes to his character, he was slightly more tolerable than his role as Robin in Batman and Robin. I'll say that, but it's not saying much, but unfortunately, because he was nowhere near as entertaining as a Brody family, especially when you compare it to, say, Jeff Goldblum's character, for example. And also, as well, the film also has, in my opinion, a much weaker villain than Mr. Tinkles, who's nowhere near as funny or as entertaining, because the villain, of course, is literally the title, Kitty Galore. And what's worse is we got Bette Midler wasting her time as her and all. Can you believe they got Winnie from Hocus Pocus wasting her time in this film? Goodness me. I feel sorry for Bette Midler. And also, as well, when it comes as well to, how I mentioned how the film badly executes Mr. Tinkles, get this, guys, because he doesn't really appear in the film much, because he only appears for a cameo appearance when, of course, he's visited in prison, so his family doesn't have much of a role in the story, but unfortunately, at the end of the film, he escapes prison. So that makes it defeating the first film completely and utterly pointless. And it was a dumb setup for more sequels to come, really, by having him escape from prison. But when it comes to said sequel war, guys, there was actually a third film that came out called Cats and Paws 3 Paws Unite, released in 2020, direct-to-video as well. But, however, despite this, I did not see it, and I don't want to see it. Because I did not hear anything good about that sequel at all, and also none of the cast from the first two films come back at all, so yeah. Sounds like I'm missing nothing if I don't see it, so I have no interest in seeing the third movie at all, guys. I mean, this film killed my interest in seeing a third movie, because it was just, in my opinion, really bad. Because it replaced a beloved main character with an annoying new character, and also, as well, a very boring story, which in my opinion was nowhere near as funny as the first movie as well. Because the first one, in my opinion, is a fun, good pleasure, which I have fun watching, whereas this one, in my opinion, was just not good. I mean, I'd probably give him the first one maybe a solid score 7 out of 10, whereas I give this horrible sequel much lower than that, because it was just so bad in my opinion compared to it, because it took what I loved about the first movie and just, in my opinion, made it really disappointing compared to it. I give it a very bad score, 3 out of 10, because it was that bad in my opinion. I just couldn't believe what happened with this film. It takes what's so good about the first film and just makes it, in my opinion, just really bad and just so boring in comparison, just disappointing. When it comes to Wild Alone, guys, hopefully one day I'll see if I can find the first one on Blu-ray. I'd love to have it on Blu-ray, because in my opinion, it's a fun, guilty pleasure. By no means a masterpiece, but I don't want to buy a sequel. Absolutely not. No chance. I'll only ever get the first film if I can. But if I do get, of course, a box set, if I have no choice, if I can't have the first one on its own, at least I'll have a sequel to a Trash Talk, or at least, so that's something. But there's no way I'm going to watch or review the third movie, because I'm not interested at all, because with the second film come at interest. So, anyway, guys, this is me, of course, doing the next episode of the movie didn't need a sequel. I was saying why, in my opinion, Cats and Dogs from 2001 did not need sequels. So, you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to also in the comments what you guys think of Cats and Dogs. Do you need sequels on it? In the comments below what you think. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe, who's coming in the future, and I'll see you all later.